Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Big shout out to everyone watching this Jrod on point. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm very happy to be here today, live again with Jrod today. Your brother from another mother, the teen to the tango, the gene to the Django, Jrod on point. We are here broadcasting from the greatest wave of YouTube true crime.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Today we're talking about Rex Heuermann, the Long Island Giglio Beach sex worker serial killer. Guilty plea. What we're going to talk about this case? I think there is a lot of things that we could learn about this case. First and foremost, a little background about this case is that I remember back in the days when I was a youngin. I was young. I think in middle school, if I'm not mistaken. I spent a vacation in Long Island with my aunt. Big shout out to them. And I spent I think it was a couple of weeks of vacation at my aunt's house over there with my grandma. And and I remember Long Island because it was beautiful. And then when I started, listening these cases happening in Long Island and whatnot after older, it caught my curiosity. But I did mention it here in the channel here and there, you know, while talking about the Idaho for Bryan Kohberger case. Um, I did mention about the Rex Heuermann case because his IGG is all involving IGG. Again, it has all the aspects, it has all the evidence that it goes with that. Again, IGG is not everything. Is let's say IGG is like a guidance. Um, in my opinion, I totally disagree with the use of IGG to resolve criminal cases. Um, the reasons for is that it hasn't been regulated. And with that, I said that for you to utilize a certain technique against someone's life, for example, a defendant, and you're gonna use IGG against it, in my opinion, you have to be crystal clear that the method used against the defendant is crystal clear, and not just crystal clear, is also legal. It has to cross a lot of T's, dot a lot of I's. It has to be a lot of audit. It has to be filtration. It has to be looked into because again, it's not fair when you want to use a so-called latest scientific technique or whatnot, modern days procedure to pinpoint, identify DNAs and whatnot. I could only assume that the Department of Justice, before they even accepted the method as a technique for guidance to pinpoint a certain individual, um, yeah, I believe that the system as is used today is used as a roundup to close the gap. I understand that. But at the same time, the IGG system, in the way it's used today, is very biased. It's a system that is biased, and it's a system that is all about interpretation of the person that is doing the whole test. It's really up to human determination. It's really up to how much that person knows about our IGG, or what's possible, what's not possible, what's the limits, what's the lines to not cross with IGG. Um, Again, as we speak today, the IGG method is very controversial. You know, it seems like now is the norm. It has become the norm that when cases like the Idaho 4 IGG base, which end up being in the plea, guilty plea, allegedly to save his life. And then now, not long after, we have this one particular case also, we a guilty plea, giving up his rights for an appeal. It's very particular to me. It's very particular. Like I see some angles within this case that I believe we could all learn a big deal about a lot. I think that parents could look into this case, and young ladies under 18s and over, they could learn a side of the business of sex trafficking, sex workers. I totally understand that we saw the highlights. We saw the press conference. Our due respects to the families of the victims. I wanna start first and foremost. Our due respect to the victims and our due respect to the family members. But I understand that due to the situation is so crystal clear, far as the victims, far as the work that they were doing around the time of the demise. I believe that all those factors will give a great deal of learning to the whole true crime community. It's a lot to learn here, because we should allow the young adults to listen to us, the true crime community, talking about cases that people could actually learn. Because these days, modern days, we see a lot of publicity, a lot of people making it cool to be in that lifestyle of pimps sex workers and whatnot. Is a lot of people glamorizing their their niche. They glamorizing that it's cool to do that, which we totally disagree here. It's not cool to be a pimp. It's not cool to be a sex worker. Um, it's not cool to be a killer. It's not cool to be a serial killer, a thief. It's not cool. So I think that us, the true crime community, should give a little bit of learning, a little bit of teaching, um, and try to guide the conversation to a position of learning. Because I know it's gonna be some criticism. The title is gonna be a little controversial, but I want to make sure that we don't mean no disrespect to the victims. We don't mean no disrespect to their family members. We're gonna try to do justice. Um, my apologies ahead of time for whatever organic and natural reaction towards the conversation that I might have. My apologies ahead of time. So, with that said, I think that it's fair to start today's conversation with just a little breakdown. I consider, let's see, a little breakdown of what we got here. On April 8th, 2026, Rex Heuermann officially pleaded guilty to the murders of 7 women and admitted to the killing at 8, ending decades of mystery surrounding the Long Island serial killer. As part of a plea deal to avoid the death penalty, and spare his families and trial, and spare his family at trial. He will serve life in prison without parole. Victims admitted by Heuermann. Heuermann confessed to strangling 8 women between 1993 and 2011. Dude, in 1993, I was in high school. 2011, 2011. Was crazy. Was crazy. Look at the timeline. Look at the timeline on these allegations, right? Look at the timeline. Heuermann confessed to strangling 8 women between 1993, which I started high school, and 2011. 2011, I started. I came here to Ohio in 2011. Wow. Again, he admitted in the same way Bryan Kohberger admitted to his crime. Okay. But that's wow. Yeah, that's a decade. That's years of killing. The Giglio 4, they call it, and you know what's crazy though? That they call it like the Idaho 4, but then it's like the Giglio 4. What's up with that though? You know what I mean? What's up with that? The Giglio 4, Maureen, Brainard, Barnes, Melissa, Bartholomew, Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, and Amber Lynn Costello. Rest in peace to the victims. Additional charges: Jessica Taylor, Valerie Mack, and Sandra Costello. Rest in peace to the victims. The eighth victim, he admitted to the 1993 murder of Karen Vergara. Vergara. That's oh my God, it was like somebody famous, Vergara too. I wonder if she was family member of oh, big shout out to Chris Owens. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Let me see what he got here. He said 1993 murders of Karen Vergara. Wait, I thought Vergara was 1996. Well, for what it seems here, and we got a source. Is CBS News, and we got another other four sources besides that one. This says that this murder happened 1993, but then that would that tell me would that tell me that that was his very first victim? Let me know anybody in the chat that knows about this case a little bit more than me. Enlighten me with your knowledge. The link is backstage link is right there, ping in the bottom of the chat. So if y'all want to pop up and have conversations about this very interesting case in the true crime community, you're more than welcome to pop up and have great conversations. But then you see, this is extraordinary, right? Because it's a victim that he's not charged with. He's not charged with this crime. Why will he admit to it? Is that a sign of repentance? Is that a sign of I give up? Like, if you ask me, right, it only make me think a little bit extra. And it's important to think, because we cannot just miss details, right? Because, for example, if that was the case, that in 1993 he killed Karen Vergara, right? But he's not charged with it. I could only assume that this has to be something personal. Let me check the chat. Big shout out to Chris Owens. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Do you think he also killed Samantha Gilbert? Good question. Samantha Gilbert. Elaborate a little bit more about Samantha Gilbert, because I don't see her here. Like, I don't see her name in the victims list. But I know it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was another victim that it was an additional victim that they couldn't charge him with. They enlighten me if you know a little bit about that, but it was I think an Asian lady or something like that. Enlighten me in the chat if you know anything about it. But what I'm going to do, I'm gonna take that name, Shanna Gilbert. I'm gonna run it real quick. I'm gonna add her name. I'm gonna add her name because again, it's the first time like I have some knowledge about the case enough like to see here and talk about it. Um, but I have not dig in. Okay, so for what we got here, it says here, Shannon Gilbert officially no. It says that Shannon Gilbert has never been formally identified as a victim of Rex Heuermann or the Long Island serial killer by law enforcement, the Observer link. While her disappearance direct led to a discovery of the other bodies, there are significant differences in her case that continue to be a point of major controversy. And I don't know if you still hear Chris, after Rex Heuermann was arrested, it was another female body they was dumping apart in Long Island. When that happened, I was like, is that the Long Island serial killer telling authorities the Rex Heuermann is not the man? That was one of the things that I thought when it was another dump site of another female with the similarities of the other victims dumped on the Long Island Park. Man, my mind goes quick. I was like, Spidey senses, the radar turned on, and I was like, yo, let me find out that the real serial killer is telling authorities with this and probably mocking authorities like, oh, you thought that you're gonna lock up Rex and this is gonna stop? Like, did you really thought you had the right person? My mind was going, and I was like, man, let me find out that authorities don't have the right guy, and it's still a guy out there killing females and dumping them. I thought about that when I seen that breaking news. So it says, while her disappearance directly led to the discovery of the other bodies, there are significant differences in her case that continue to be a point of major controversy. Official cause of death. The Suffolk County Media Examiner officer ruled her death undetermined. Police investigators have long maintained that she likely died of an accidental drowning or exposure after running into the marsh in state of panic. That there, it does raise a red flag to me. The medical examiner ruled her death undetermined. Police investigators have long maintained that she likely died of an accidental drowning. How you accidentally drown yourself It's a reasons for everything in life. Or exposure after running into a marsh in a state of panic. But you still have to try to find out how she got there. And if you're gonna say that she was running to the marsh in a state of panic, obviously something or someone was chasing her. Obviously, if you're gonna put that statement that she ran into it in a state of panic, obviously something or someone was chasing her that made her drown. So it's still accountability there for someone. Oh, I was just chasing her and not, I mean, she just jumped in the water. But you were still chasing her. Some charges of manslaughter could still apply to you. You know what I mean? Like for you chasing her, she ended up dying. You at fault. So obviously you have to pay with some legal accountability for running and chasing after her. I could only assume, I could only assume that if this young lady, which I don't know, I could only assume due to the record of the other ones, far as the spectrum of whatever is being said in social media and the legacy media news stations and such. I could only assume that if indeed by any chance Shannon Gilbert was a sex worker also, which we don't know, okay, I believe the authorities didn't care. That's what it's giving me right now, listening to the statement. It's giving me that the authorities didn't care enough to follow through with some kind of proper investigation and really give the opportunity to the law to extend the reach to see if it's something there, someone there to get some accountability from. But if she was indeed a sex worker, also, I believe authorities didn't care. Family disagreement. Her family and their attorneys, John Ray, strongly contest the official ruling. They hire independent forensic pathologists who determine her injuries, especially damage into her hyoid bone in her neck, were consistent with homicidal strangulation. Wow. That's a big statement though. Wow. Family disagreement. So the family disagree with the narrative. Mm. Strongly contest the official ruling. They hire independent forensic pathologists who determine her injuries, especially damage to the hyoid hyoid bone in her neck, were consistent with homicidal strangulation. Mm. Heuermann confession during his guilty plea on April 8, 2026. Rex Heuermann admitted to the killing of 8 specific women. He was not charged with Gilbert's death and has not admitted to any involvement in it. You see, I'm very glad that Chris asked this question. I'm very, very glad that he asked that question. It's actually very relevant to this case, though. Role in the investigation. Shannon is often called the catalyst for the case. In May 2010, she made a frantic 23-minute 911 call claiming they were trying to kill her. It was during the massive search for her in the brush near Giglio Beach that canine units first began discovering the remains of the other victims. Wow. Okay, she's the young lady on the phone running on the 911 call, and then it went quiet. So obviously someone killed her. Obviously. And she's saying claiming they were trying to kill. Is spooky though, because she's saying multiple assailants, which make you think if in reality Rex Heuermann committed these crimes, did he have help? Did he have some kind of help? But key question, sit down and think, who will help him? Because if that was the case, this is the type of activities that not a lot of people gets involved. That's the type of activity that only a very small, close circle will engage. Hmm. In summary, while she is arguably the most famous figure associated with the case, the law enforcement position as 2026 remained that her death was a tragic accident unrelated to human crimes. Mm-mm-mm. This is a very, very sad story. It is. It is, though. Key evidence. Key evidence and allegations. The prosecution case relied on a combination of high-tech forensic and digital tracking. Here we go. Here we go with the DNA. IgG. DNA from discarded pizza. The smoking gun. Was DNA recovered from a pizza crust that Heuermann threw away in Manhattan in 2023. It matched it matched hair found on several victims with near total certain. But you see, I would like to this. You see, this is the part about IgG. This is the one part of IgG that I don't agree with. I don't agree how sneaky. Like it should be illegal to do that. In my sincere, unbiased opinion, that that sneakiness, that technique should be illegal because it give opportunity to frame. When it comes about DNA, you have to have a hit 100 of 100. If not, you don't have nothing. That's how it should be. But they don't use it like that. Again, especially when cops have not done the job right from the beginning and the cases go cold, and then now you're trying to amend and fix the problem using a technique that is not 100% reliable. It's not. And that there is for a fact. It should be illegal for any investigative body grab discarded trash that it might have your DNA on it, and then now is on the mercy of the testing, is on the mercy of the IgG, is on the mercy of the interpretation of that work, is on the mercy of human error, is on the mercy of human bias, is on the mercy of just human framing someone to attach a critical case of life and death case against anyone. I 100% disagree with the IgG, not just with the IgG, but with that one particular technique. It's the same thing with the Idaho foe. They have Bryan Kohberger DNA on that trash can. Why you could have done the work to separate his DNA from wherever, and run a test to see if you have a direct hit. They didn't have a direct hit because they use his dad's DNA to confirm the approximation that they already rendered. It has to be a positive hit 100 of 100. It was a 100 100 of Kohberger's dad. Also, if it was Kohberger's dad, a 100 100 hit of Kohberger's dad, because the IgG system, their results are biased and will come back towards American, European, white male. So the investigation, what you realize, you get a person like Bryan Kohberger looking like, Rex Heuermann looking like, getting blamed for a crime that possibly they ain't even committed. But then we have sneaky cops grabbing discarded DNA from somewhere, and now you do a IgG and see if it's any familiar similarities between the DNA discarded on the crime scene and the DNA that you just collected. The problem with that is that you don't see the human interaction with the testing, which also includes manipulation of the data. You could make it look like however you want to make it look like. That's why the problem with the IgG method and the IgG system to prosecute anyone. They try to hide what they do. You know why? They don't want to tell you what they do, because they know as soon as they tell you what they do, the case are over. Big shout out to Jane. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Jane here. Say, hey, Jrod, hello, school man, Chris. I'm late. No, you listen, right on time. Big shout outs to you. Thank you for being here, Jane. Very appreciate it. Big shout out to Jane. So again, I totally disagree with the sneakiness of police officers picking up discarded DNA to use a back door and test that DNA and match it with DNA discarded in the crime scene. That's easy. You know what's not easy? You know what's not easy? That if you have a suspect, you try to investigate a suspect, soon as that person becomes your suspect by law, follow the proper procedures for you to get DNA, find probable cause, do your job as a cop, as an officer. I don't care if you're here in the United States or you're over there in the UK. If you are a police officer that represents the law and we the people, you must have a legit probable cause. You must have a legit probable cause to go and require anyone to get a vocal swab or some kind of DNA recollection for you to try your case. You must have a solid probable cause. Why it has to be a solid probable cause? Especially if you're going to try a case that is going to be a life sentence, that is going to be a death penalty. Cases of life or death, cases that someone has died, you must care for those cases as if you was taking care of a federal RICO on the federal highest level. If someone died, it don't matter if it's the state and the lower court of district handling the case, the police officers must follow the regulation of whenever they get a probable cause. Soon as you get a probable cause, I don't want to hear he say, she say. No, I want to see all the evidence that you have. Me as a judge, I want to see what you have right now. You must have evidence that indicate that this person, without a doubt, is the person that you're looking for. Not just because he said, she said. No, you need to bring me as a judge something substantial for me to sign in on this, for you to get this person. Because as soon as I sign in on this, it's a snowball effect that is very hard to stop that snowball from becoming bigger and bigger. That's the difficult part of an investigation. The cops doing their job right. This is why I disagree with cops picking up the trash, getting DNA. You know why? Because if you do that back door in the same way they backdoor Bryan Kohberger, because I already checked the whole IGG regulations and everything. The federal government, the department, forget it. The Department of Justice indicates that the rules and regulations and statutes of ethic must be followed for the use of IGG, and the regulations that even though not by law, the Senate has not passed laws against, if you do this, well, you breaking the law. But the Department of Justice is telling you this is unethical and you must not do it. You know what that means? That no judge, as Stephen Hitler, no judge, as John Judge, no judge, as Megan Marshall can take no IGG up on consideration for shit. You know why? Because you gotta have other stuff without the IGG. The IGG has to be the checkmate. You cannot just adjust and make an IGG with the interpretation and then start looking for evidence. No, no, that's lazy, and that allows the IGG system to frame someone because it's illegal and unethical, if you ask me. Grab someone's DNA without their permission. You should not, by law, if you don't have probable cause to get my DNA, you must not touch my DNA for no testing at all. Because that by itself allows the opportunity of framing. Okay, so that we already talked about that DNA from discarded pizza and my argument about it. Then we have the blueprint. It is it's an evidence that is called a blueprint document. Investigators found a grisly computer file created in in the 2000s that served as a manual for hunting, killing, and disposing of victims. It included checklists for cleaning the bodies. What? Cleaning the bodies and destroy the evidence. But you see, this is a problem. This is a problem because this right here, he say, she say, because this is how they breaking it down. But if this man, as they say, he was a hunter, all this information that they have here is just for effect. And he said, she said, this is just in the same way they say that Bryan Kohberger bought a K-bar knife 2 months before he even moved to Pullman. So what? So what? Oh, he bought a face mask. So what? That don't mean that he killed the person. That don't mean if he was truth that he bought again, because there's no proof of that yet. We have not seen no proof of that yet. They're still hiding the documents. So that there could be spaghetti on the wall. Why? Because they're part of cleaning the bodies. That's what it tells me, that the blueprint document could be nothing but a manual for a hunter activities. Big shout out to Jane. Jane said, wait, I'm not sure about this case. You saying this guy not the guy? Hey, he said he did it though. He said he did it though. You know, he plead guilty to it, just like Bryan Kohberger. He said he's the man in the same way Kohberger said that he's the man. We just breaking it down as we know how to do it better than anybody else, Jay. I'm just giving y'all the meats and potatoes. Y'all take your own conclusions, okay? If you want my take on that, I'll tell you. But we might have another Bryan Kohberger in this case. So the reason for why I'm taking that take on that is because they're part of cleaning the bodies. None of the bodies of the victims were gutter. None of the victims, but they died by strangulation. None of the bodies would temper like that, like to get open and gutted and clean and or chop up or nothing like that. That's why, in my opinion, this so-called blueprint document is only capped to make him look bad. In the same way, the DNA, in my opinion, is illegal, or it should be illegal for cops just because they lazy and they know with the IgG they could frame someone and they just gotta get anything else that it goes with it. But as long as they do IgG first instead of do the work, okay, I got this, I got that, I got multiple things against this guy. And as soon as I get the IgG to shade. But no, everything that they got it after. Everything they got against Rex, they got it after the IgG. After they went, in my opinion, that it should be illegal for you, if you believe that I have killed someone, it should be illegal for you to grab my DNA if I spit on the floor or whatnot. It should be illegal for you to grab my DNA to put on the any testing. Because if you have probable cause against me, ask for a warrant for my DNA. Force me in a legal way to give you my DNA because you already have a body of work done. And the only thing that you need is my DNA to cook me. But no, that's too much to ask. Now you're asking us to do our work, Jrod. And you get paid for it, idiot. So I shouldn't be asking you for much. We're just asking you to do your fucking work. Do your job. Stop being lazy and fat and try to frame people. So we got these two details within the case that I don't see nothing. Okay, burner phone activity records showing Heuermann used burner phones to contact And you know what's crazy? That if these I didn't see like in the Bryan Kohberger case, we didn't see experts to talk about the whole cell phone thing because through the procedure that it was done in the Idaho 4, we got to know the illegality of using the cell phone data that they use in a secret grand indictment, and why, and the reason of what that evidence it shouldn't been thrown out. Why? Because Maori, okay, the person that he was supposed to do that job, it was balanced. But now we're gonna put Maori, not certified, no nothing. No, you're just gonna do this with the information that the expert is giving you, and you're gonna put it in a computer, even though you're not an expert, and you also gonna put it in the computer with our interpretation. You're only gonna put the job. You're just gonna use your Twitter fingers and type and do everything we're telling you to do. And you know, after you do that, you know what else you're gonna do? You're gonna delete the proof that you did it. You're gonna delete it all. So Ann Taylor cannot recreate what you just did for Kohberger to have a secret grand indictment on his back. That if it wasn't for Judge, if it wasn't for Judge Hippler, that they allow that evidence to come in without any way possible for the defense team to double check that work and confirm and certify that it was done right. No, it was like 18-20% of the information all missing. And they still, the judges, even though Ann Taylor and her pro sire didn't have the materials that he utilized to put the secret grand indictment cast cell phone data evidence together, the judges still allow it. What a shame. The judges still allow that process to become powerful against him. Oh no, well, we don't need the IGG. We already have the cell phone data went through on the secret grand indictment. We already got him with a secret grand indictment. That's why they said that the probable cause PCA, oh, that don't matter. Why? Because they were mocking you. They were mocking you with it because they laughing at you doing this evil work that they do. And then what you gonna do? You can't do shit about it, right? And that's how they do it. This is some evil shit. This is the form, the burner phone activities. It says the burner phone activities records show Heuermann used burner phones to contact the sex workers over 500 times. These phones pinged near the victim's last known location and his Massapequa Park home. Here we have the same situation with the towers. Here we have the same situation with the towers. Long Island is not that, it's big, but not that big. So then now, as a matter of fact, we're gonna do the work right now. We're gonna do the work right now. Hold on, we're gonna do the work right now. How many cell phone towers are located in Long Island? All right, what we got here? Jane said, "Yep." Oh, that showed up shady judge. Yeah, those judges, they were terrible though. They were terrible. Hold on. There is no. It says, okay. How many cell phone towers are located in Long Island? There is no single official count for all the Long Island, but combined data of Nassau and Suffolk counties suggests there are roughly 2,000 to 3,000 primary cell phone towers. Through these numbers swell significantly when including smaller antennas and specialized in installations. According to the industry data, uh, there were estimated to be at least 2,000 towers across Long Island and Westchester County of an earlier industry reports. Breakdowns by area. Okay, so what we get out of that? We get that they have enough towers to get a proper cast cell phone data. The only thing in this case, we didn't got to see or hear anything about the process to get to that. In the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case, we did. We got to know the illegality of that process by the mouth of Maury himself. We got to hear it directly from the mouth of Ann Taylor and Cy Ray themselves. It's a problem with this cast cell phone data, and it should have never gotten admitted on evidence. Because here we have Detective Maury from Moscow PD doing some cast work that he's not certified for with someone else's information that someone else has put it to the test. And then after he put it together and send it, you delete how you got to those conclusions, which all that material by law, you have to give it to the defense team. You cannot delete or erase anything. Soon as you delete and erase or how you got to those conclusions in the Bryan Kohberger case, you make that evidence void. That evidence become not admittable in the court of law, because the Ann Taylor team won't be able to recreate what you recreated. So, and even though they wouldn't be able to do it, but they know so much about it that they know that with what you did, how you did it, is information missing. So how are we gonna see here and say that Hitler and Judge were not being corrupt and violating Bryan Kohberger's rights when they allowed a cast cell phone data to indict him when he should have got thrown out right away? Because we don't have nothing to give to the defense team to make sure we did our job right, to make sure the taxpayer money was put to work the right way. So this is another, all these three right here, sketchy to me. Sketchy to me. Again, the man admitted to doing so. Chevrolet Avalanche, a witness description of a dark green first generation Chevrolet Avalanche registered to Heuermann provided the initial lead that reignited the cold case in 2022. You see, this another bullshit. Because the 2022 Avalanche, Chevrolet Avalanche, even if I'm not mistaken, all the Avalanches they came out, they all have OnStar. Stupid. Why we don't hear the OnStar service of the Chevrolet Avalanche? Because they got those records of GPS. They'll have records of wherever an avalanche go. It's a GPS tracker all the time. So why we don't see is the White Elantra yes, the White Elantra all over again, saying that, oh yeah, the pictures of the videos of the car going by 11:22, it wasn't even a White Elantra, and it wasn't even Bryan Kohberger. It was other cars that looked like, and they said, oh yeah, that's Bryan Kohberger. even Molly said that she was in the four-door sedan. You see me? And she said that she bounced out of there in a high speed around the same time that they said that the Bryan Kohberger took his last out. Which, if you ask me, Molly could be taking um the killers out of the area, the helpers out of the area, whoever cleaning the house, whoever temper with the crime scene and clean and mop and do this and do that. Hey, Molly, take him back home. All right, I'll give you a couple of bucks, take him back home. Nobody want to talk about that, huh? Nobody want to talk about that. It's cool though. I do pay attention. It's okay. They don't have to talk about it. I talk about it myself. All right. Digital history. His search history revealed an obsession with sadistic pornography and active monitoring of the Giglio Beach investigation. Oh, okay. So you got some kinky taste on you porn watch. You have some kinky in you and you porn watch, right? And you like true crime. Am I wrong for saying this? You got some extra kinky in you when you watch your porn on your search history, and you like true crime, especially if it's about a case in your backyard. You're gonna research, you're gonna look into it, especially if this major crime is in your backyard. It's like me here doing my YouTube content creation work as a YouTube true crime content creator, and just like typing away titles of crimes and stuff like that, information and all these, like me doing my sleuthing, my inter super cyber sleuthing. Oh my God. Shut the fuck up. So you know what though? In reality, if you are going to take in consideration what is called key evidence and allegations, they don't have shit. Because if they sift through all this shit, but remember, he said he did it. But in my opinion, if you sift through all this shit, they ain't got shit. In my opinion. The problem here is that the IGG, the illegality of picking up my trash, the illegality that you violated my privacy as an individual. My saliva, my DNA is mine, is private. I'm a private human being. Just because I discarded my DNA, but just because it's DNA, is me, is what I left behind, and you trying to blame me for a crime that you say I committed, you must have probable cause to request my vocal swab. You must have a probable cause, because why? Because when it have to do with DNA, they could make it whatever they want to make it look like. And after they make it look like however they want to make it look like, they add all the other spaghetti around the IgG, because they do the IgG first, the trap, and then they throw the spaghetti around it. But they have this is your DNA. As soon as they tell you this is your DNA, how the fuck you gonna fight that in court? How you, because then now, even though it's not at 100 of 100, because he was not at 100 of 100%, it was nearly, remember, nearly close, but it was not 100 of 100. It put him around the white American European male. Think about it. I'm saying this, and I'm saying these terms because those people They actually work with IgG know what I'm talking about. The majority of returns of IgG, they will come to a white American European descendant. That's why the people that it comes back for the IgG are never black. Tell me one IgG using against a black man. With that, I'm breaking the whole Pandora box. Tell me one IgG in the criminal world, one IgG done that I have brought back a black male. Not one. Do you search? I already did mine. Everybody that has come back from an IgG result is a white American European man from that line of IgG. It always goes back to that because that's the biggest branch that they have in the whole IgG tree. It always goes back to that. That goes back to who is doing the testing, what's their knowledge about it, what's behind it of even having that DNA there without no probable cause. Because soon as you have that DNA there, now you could do whatever you want with it. You could make it look like whatever you want to make it look like. Because guess what? It's not a probable cause with solid evidence behind it before the DNA done. Because again, and I repeat, you must have done your investigative work surrounding the alleged suspect that you want to frame for this or that you want to put a case on. You must have evidence surrounding the IgG before you even go to DNA. Why? Because you need now a probable cause to go get it by a legal way, a DNA swab. But no, what you do, Idaho full. You go to Megan Marshall, lie to the lady, lie under oath to the judge. And as soon as you got the warrant to go to Pennsylvania, what you do? Instead of arrest the man, because you have a warrant with enough power to arrest this man, but you know what? That if you arrest this man with this warrant and you don't have that trash picked up, your case don't go nowhere. Because at that moment, instead of you went and arrest Bryan Kohberger, we had warrant to arrest him. So that means that whatever was presented to Megan Marshall was enough for taxpayer money be used to transport special forces to go and pick up this man. And then instead of pick him up, you track him, you find him, instead of knocking on his door and come with me, please. No, what you do, you dig into the trash, sneaky. When you know there is a mandate, is a city mandate, then don't allow the cops to get the trash to do no criminal shit. You still did it. Why? Because you're from Idaho. Oh, we don't have to obey by none of these ethical shit from Pennsylvania. We're from Idaho. We're from Idaho. We're going to dig into the trash. And I don't care if we found Bryan Kohberger DNA there. We are going to use his dad's DNA. You know why? Because if we use Bryan Kohberger DNA to test it, the test is going to go shit because it's going to give you a full negative of it. Because you know what you needed? You needed to use Bryan Kohberger's dad's DNA to secure that you have a white American European man. That's it. Do your homework. Get good at true crime. But guess what? That's what you have me here for. Big shout out to everyone that is watching. But long story short, in my opinion, everything that they had against this man is all spaghetti. But the pressure of the IgG and the trickery of getting the DNA, hey, listen, it's your DNA on this victim. Soon as they tell you that, and now you're gonna tell them like, "But how you got to that conclusion that it was me, you idiot?" They're gonna tell you, "Well, we can tell you. We just know it's you. You have to trust us." Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Prosecutor status sentencing scheduled for June 17, 2026. Plea deed terms. Heuermann agreed to cooperate with the FBI behavioral analysis unit to help experts understand the psyche of serial killers. Man, this is gonna be a walk in the park. The man is gonna be telling lies and stories, and they'll never gonna learn shit. Lies and stories. Hey, how you did this? I don't know. Y'all told me that I was there and that I did it. What about you tell me about it? Because I don't fucking know. Oh, but you were supposed to help us and do this and do that. It's like, well, I thought you were supposed to help me to tell me how the fuck I did it because I don't even know. I thought me coming to see you, you would have tell me how the fuck you got me. It's gonna be all fucked up. But no, 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 no. I think we have something good with that. I think we do have something good with that though. I think we did a good breakdown of it. I think we did. But I might try to play a little some here for y'all to see. Hopefully I don't get and hopefully I don't get hit with the thunder. Um Please, true crime gods, allow me to do my job, please. All right, let's see if we get to do our job, our true crime job. Let's have a little listening and a little reaction to this case breakdown by the first 48, and hopefully we don't get hit with the thunder. Let's go.
It is a case that has haunted the public for more than 13 years, and many feared that the Gilgo Beach murders may never be solved.
The officer located a body.
It seemed to be wrapped in burlap.
I think that was like the first lady that they found. They got to find the other ones, if I'm not mistaken.
Which didn't make any sense. The crime.
Look at this area though. Hold on, let me look at this area though. I mean, it's beautiful, but at the same time, like it's like a hunting ground for a killer. Like look, you know what I'm saying? It's if you don't have proper law enforcement and you know and community watch and stuff like that, like east areas, like to the bad people could do bad things. Like as you could tell, such a awful crime happened in this area. You know what I mean? Because I guess he facilitates, I guess, concealment or whatnot. And also, this area is from it's like high mid class. Like it is high mid class. You know, you have like high profile residences and stuff, but you have also like, you know, medium wealthy people, you know what I'm saying? And wherever, you know, you have like wealthy people and is someone from those wealthy people that are not all there. Money and power is there, and connections is there to do what they please. Big shout out to Rhonda. Thank you so much. Helpy Rhonda. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. We're talking about the case of Rex Heuermann and the Long Island Giglio Beach sex worker serial killer.
Crime scene gets expanded. I'm called, and Chief, we found another set of remains. They find another one, and another one. We were dealing with a serial killer. Well, they're available, they're vulnerable, and very petite.
This killer has a type.
Right. Does he want?
They said Jane said hello, Rhonda. Big shout out to Jane. Big shout out to Help Me Rhonda. Thank you so much for being here. So I have questions because Forrest as rape kids from the victims, like they didn't rape kids on the victims to at least to know if he was any type of DNA from the perpetrator, or again due to the I wonder if that should be done by default. But at the same time, like as soon as the officers got to find that they were sex workers, they should have thought of that. You know what I mean? If it was any type of indication of that they were sex workers, you know what I'm saying? By the time they identify them, like did they had a record of it or whatnot, they would tell investigators like, listen, we need to do a rape kit ASAP, see if we find any type of DNA in them or whatnot, which I believe it should have got done, right? And especially if being sex workers, like did they got murder before or after sex? That's information within a criminal investigation is very, very important. It sounds a little sick, but in criminal investigations, that's the most. Jane said a type question mark. Were they all prostitutes? Jane, yes. To answer that question, unfortunately, the allegations are that they were all prostitutes. Like they were all sex workers. They actually documented even in this video. Help me Rhonda say he's a sick freak and cops were involved. You know what? I totally agree with that because we just seen the web search and we could tell that he has like a dark freaky on him within the porn stuff, and then the blueprint or whatnot, which it looks to me that was more of a hunting manual or whatnot, because none of the victims apparently got gutted or clean. So that was a little bit too much. But yeah, with the sadistic stuff on the porn and whatnot, that was very icky, you know what I mean? And but again, someone could be a sicko, but at the same time, that don't mean he did it. He confessed to it, just like Bryan Kohberger. And it has a lot of similarities within the case. But remember, we learn more about the Bryan Kohberger case. Even though with the Sealman, we end up knowing more about the Bryan Kohberger case thanks to Ann Taylor, because she forced some issues to come up to the light while she was trying to get rid of evidence that the judges should have got rid of. And that's why we learn a little bit more about the Idaho 4 than this case. In this case, in my opinion, it was a lot of secrecy. Like, I didn't see a try from the defense team to put some evidence under the loop. And okay, you say you have these other evidence, but can we get to the intricacy of it? We're hearing it didn't happen. Way before they even did those scrimmages. Again, after 2 years, you know what I mean? After, way before they did, what we call pre-trial scrimmages, right? He just took a plea. That to me, it's like just the similarities between cases and in the way both cases got discarded DNA in the middle of all, which to me should be illegal. Because again, as soon as they got your DNA with the IgG process, they could just they make you the criminal. Like they literally, even though they just have the DNA that they have on the crime scene, they have to make yours to be close to that. If the DNA in the crime scene was from a white American European male, and you are a white European male, you are cooked. That's why I don't believe in the IgG. I don't believe in the way the cops get to use the IgG without probable cause to get you DNA. I feel that's illegal. But the whole point of this is that utilizing the IgG in these methods, they trap you. Because soon as they got the IgG to say that, yeah, he's very close to be the person. But I mean, we don't have a direct hit because you will never get a direct hit. If you didn't got a direct hit, when you run it, pair and compare, the IgG will make a pair. That's the problems with the IgG. I don't trust it because you could make it look like whatever you want to make it look like. So as soon as in court, Bryan, Kohberger, and Rex, it's like, whoa, your DNA wasn't the crime scene. It's over. Because if you ask these IgG people how you got to the conclusion that was close to be my DNA, they tell you, oh no, we can't share that with you because that's, investigative techniques that we could. Shut the fuck up. You might as well tell me right now, because you cannot, in my opinion, if you don't tell me how these work and how you got to the conclusion that was my DNA or close to be my DNA, you better be very specific and explain to me how the fuck you did it, or if not, you're not gonna fucking do nothing against me. Ain't no charge could proceed using IgG without you telling me how the fuck you do it. It doesn't make no sense that you're gonna keep key information when you're prosecuting someone with IgG. It just, I feel that it's just not fair, because entrap people. Because the IgG say like, yeah, you was close to be, and that's all they use, and then everything else around is just a spaghetti on the wall to make it look bad, but your DNA is there. So then all the other circumstantial evidence, not solid, let's listen, not solid, circumstantial evidence, just because they said that your DNA was in the crime scene, all the circumstantial evidence will apply. But they first trap you with the DNA because everything else will fit as a domino effect. Help me, Rhonda say, it's like they all started dropping bodies there. Yeah, it's like, you think about it. For example, if this was corrupted cops while they in duty, Remember, this is years ago. If there was a corrupted cop in duty on his undercover car, if this was cops doing this, they just frame Rex. Because you know their wife at home cannot know that while I'm at work, I'm just having sex with prostitutes and then killing them and dropping them. You know, I'm a cop. You cannot. Come on, man. Don't look at me. What are you talking about? I was eating donuts. You know what I mean? But big shout out to help me, Rhonda. No, I totally feel you, Rhonda. I'm with you though. It seems like this was. Listen, it's always someone in power, and and Rex Heuermann always looked it to me like he pissed off. He pissed off someone. He pissed off someone with the power of prosecution. He pissed off someone that he have the power of law enforcement or prosecution. In my opinion, Rex, again, he plead guilty to it. This is just my opinion. He just needed to piss off someone on that New York state of mind. And you know, it's a lot of powerful people in New York with a lot of Jewish connections. Big shout out to my Jewish people out there. But Rex just needed to piss someone off with power of prosecution for that person to send them, hey, he always go and grab pizza over there. 9 times out of 10, he throw pizza away. You're gonna grab that pizza. You're gonna have the DNA that you need to save my fucking life. So now you go grab that cross and you frame this guy. You do what I tell you. Just go fetch. Because they know as soon as they get the cross, they get his DNA illegally. Legal. It's legal, but it should be illegal. Put it through the IGG. Dump all the other evidence that you have or whatever you have. Just feed it to him. Fuck it. No one will give a fuck. This is why I did apologize in the very beginning of the live stream to the victims and to the family members of the victims, not just for the word sex workers and because it was about to be a conversation of prostitution or whatnot, but also for me, my little true crime humor that sometimes it gets a little heavy. My apologies, but let's continue.
Want the petite body because he wants.
Okay, now I know and I remember. Thank you. Well, 9 times out of 10. Hold on, let me see. Rhonda said no one calls in Mississippi prostitutes maybe months later, if at all. I know that's what I'm saying. Like law enforcement do not care about prostitutes dying, and they don't care about overdoses. Like if you die of an overdose, you die of an overdose. They're just gonna call it for what it is. They're not even gonna investigate if you dying from an overdose was in the hands of someone that gets you a bad dose, someone that purposely overdose you. The cops don't care. I'm telling you right now, the cops, this is like a makeup. This is like to a reputation makeup. Cops don't care about prostitutes, sex workers, or pimps, or like they don't care. They don't. And again, like in the Idaho fall, like if you die and whoever kill you is someone with a big position in the Greek life, or their families in the position in the Greek life or whatnot, they already have the people in positions on the Department of Justice to protect those assets and frame whoever with whatever, however they'll do it, because they know how, and they know they're gonna get away with it because they got the power to do so with trickeries, IGG, pick up trash, pick up DNA discarded on the floor, da 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 da. But why you didn't got a probable cause to force me to give you my DNA instead of just sneaky little beach, gonna sneakity sneak, grab my DNA and then just put it in the Rubik's cube and make it what it is, huh? It should not be legal. The cops should be forced for what they get paid for. They should be forced to investigate. Because what about whoever investigated this case for years or years took part on the killing and misleading everybody and shit? You never know. You never know if the killer was within the investigators and shit, like within the police station or whatnot. You never know. You never know until you know. You know what I'm saying? Again, for someone to be this brave to do something like this, they gotta have some kind of power and guts, cause some guts out of power, cause they know they could get away with it. But no one gonna kill these many people for so many years without having no power to know that I could keep doing it. This is why when Rex got arrested and a fresh body was found, for me was the signal from the real Long Island serial killer telling authorities, mocking authorities, like you arrested Rex, and I just dump a body on your feet. Like, it's just stupid. Okay, so okay, you got the Long Island serial killer, huh? Didn't you? Okay, you got him locked up, or how these fresh body just was found? Whoever killed that person has not been found neither yet. So now how you explain that to me? That as soon as Rex gets arrested, not long after, another body gets found fresh, and you're not gonna tell me that that was not the real serial killer telling the police and telling the world, like, ha ha la 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 la. But yep, easy victims, very sad. Yeah, they not just easy victims. 9 times out of 10, sex workers have a drug addiction. Listen, big shout out to those sex workers that they doing it for diapers and for something to eat, to put in some food on the table for your children's. I still don't support that. But if you're one of those mothers out there selling your body to put food on the table and do something righteous, even though you're doing something that is not righteous, but you flip the coin, and what you're doing with your money is righteous, even though you're doing bad out there, listen, good for you. I still don't support you, but good for you. But is many females out there that unfortunately the it tells you that 9 times out of 10 they're gonna sell their body because they have some kind of drug addiction. And 9 times out of 10, the ones that it has a drug addiction have it alcohol or a heavy lifestyle within party and drug consumption and whatnot, and very promiscuous, like 9 times out of 10, due to that they don't care to give their body to someone. They say, well, might as well let me get paid for it. And it's easy money for females that are sort of good looking when they clean up. They they could use drugs, but when they clean up, they look pretty decent and could play a customer or two and whatnot, and live that lifestyle. Unfortunately, it's easy prayers, because again, not just because society really don't care about them and it's a reality, but it's also because police officers really don't care. It's like when a gang member die, cops don't care. They really don't. It just they just wait for gang members to kill each other, and that's it. It's like, well, why we gonna lock them up? They're gonna die next day anyway, so just let them be. You know what I mean? Rex did some, but cops did the rest. You see, it's a chance for that though. Remember, you know what it called my attention is that Rex admitted to a body that he was not being charged with, but then the very first one in 1993, Shannon, what was her name? Shannon Gilbert. Shannon Gilbert, which she was called, what was that? The catalyst of the case. Yeah, that she was called the catalyst is right here. She was called the catalyst of the case. So the thing is, he admits to Karen Vergara. He was not being charged with Karen Vergara's death in 1993. I want to ask a question. When Samantha Gilbert was found, so Samantha Gilbert was discovered December 13, 2011. So I would like to say that she was probably the very, very last of his victims. I would like to say that she could be the very, very last of his victims. And he didn't admit to it. That's a problem that I have with this case. That if you admit in killing the 8th victim in 1993, that it could be your very first victim, and you admit to it when you are not being charged with, you admit to it, but you're not gonna admit on Shannon Gilbert. Her death was in the undetermined. They said that she ran into the march in a state of panic, and she died accidental drowning, just like another Kiely Rodni. They quick to use that, but then the family disagree. They contested it, and they use a whole independent forensic pathologist who determined the injuries, especially damage to the hyoid bone in her neck, were consistent with homicidal strangulation. So if you had the guilty conscience to admit to the killing of Karen Vergara, why you didn't admit to killing Shannon Gilbert too? Why, if you admitted to the death of someone that you are not charged with, why didn't you tell him, well, might as well charge me with Shannon Gilbert too? It could be your your very last victim. One of the biggest reasons why everything is where it's at today. Because thanks to her, it seems there was more clarity in the case far as the other victims. So that was her role. It was very important in this case, we gotta say. But I have an issue that if you admit to the death of someone that you was not charged with, why you didn't admit to Shannon Gilbert too if you are the real killer? Is big questions to ask in a type of case like this. Because you're gonna admit to killing this one particular person that happened in 1993. You let's say your very first victim. Because it seems that they making it look like you admitted to your very first victim, but you are not gonna admit your very last victim that you are also not charged with, but it has to do with the case. I have problems with that. I do have problems with that. It doesn't feel right. I could be wrong, but it doesn't feel right. It's something about it that doesn't suit right to me. Jane said, oh, what? Fresh body after he's arrested. Yes, Jane. After he was arrested, it seems like, in my opinion, that the real killer dumped a body around the same area to let the people, the world, and the cops know, like, you fucked up. In my opinion. But yes, Jane, it was a crime similar to the serial killer, the Long Island serial killer, after Rex was arrested. Yes. Yes, that was very telling to me. Um, I don't know. It just certain things that don't feel right. You know what I mean? Okay, so Rhonda, these areas a dumping ground. Yes, yeah, these areas became a dumping ground. Rhonda said he got away with this because he gave cops a free pass whenever they themselves needed to kill and dump a prostitute. Every single case reinvestigated seems corrupt. And you know what? I totally agree with you. I have to agree with you, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. I have to agree with you. because he seems sloppy. It's something about me that if I never studied for that. I wish I did. But it's something for me that doesn't suit well. It's like the investigative body for years were lacking the interest to resolve these cases. Again, in my opinion, until Rex pissed off someone with power. That's all I could think of. Like, we're not saying he's innocent because we're not. He admit to it. But everything surrounding his admission is just not well suited. It's not put together in the legal spectrum that I could say, well, the narrative is clean. The investigation, clean, which is not. And then it was no initiative from his lawyers like to push proper pre-trial scrimmages to put the state on the pressure, like, you need to give me more. Okay, you got this, but I need more details on the IGG. I definitely need more details on the triangulation of the cell phones. How we know that these cell phones belong to him, like confirm they belong to him. How we know this? Because the triangulation is bullshit. Like if you did you job right, you come with a specific details. You don't come with approximation. I have a problem with approximation within details for cell phone data. You have to be more specific, in my opinion. When it comes around cell phone data, just being around the area, just cause your cell phone hit on a tower don't mean that he was around that location. He could be 20 plus miles away and still hit in that tower. But then if you get hit in that tower and in this tower and in this other tower at the same time, then the triangulation of those towers will amplify the location. Which, if you ask me, even when a phone is on roam, you still get GPS data. Even on those track phones, those throwaway phones and whatnot, you could still get good data or location out of that. Even Ray said it. Big shout out to Help Me Rhonda. Thank you for the comment, bro. I appreciate it.
Wants to feel more empowered and more in control.
So going back to what we was talking about, they said that he liked them petite, but then they put the assessment to it like petite for because he's big for control or whatnot and this and other. It's like, well, you also gotta look at it as far as the fetish, because again, sex workers, fetish, what you trying to do with them or whatnot. Like, it has to be a reason for these young ladies to get murdered, not just cause they were prostitutes. Someone are going to kill them. I don't see that narrative in this case. But I get that feeling. I get the feeling that it was like a game. if you're a prostitute, if you're a sex worker, you should be able to do this for me. And I'm gonna pay you to do this for me. And let's say that this for me is not suffice or is not satisfied or whatnot. It might trigger the killer to do so. You understand me? But that petite about it, 9 times out of 10, when I don't want to speak for all men, but I have known some people that when they look for sex workers, they looking for something that it looks petite, fit, something special. They looking for what is called a treat. So 9 times out of 10, they're gonna look for them young, small, and petite, and not necessarily have anything to do with them being petite to have more control on them at the time of killing. Is you also have to see the sexual side of it. You know what I'm saying? Jane said, was there a pattern on the way they were killed to link all the victims? They will all strangle. All victims strangle. All victims, yep, strangle. Help me run to say Jack, sex work is scary line of work. I tell you what though, I could only assume, and I could only speak on whatever I have seen and witnessed on the streets. A sex worker job is one of the most dangerous. Is one of the most dangerous, and this is where we wish young females, young adult females, they probably come across this content. I want you to understand that be a sex worker and work in sex traffic is a life or death every day. You really don't know your customers. You only know their intentions. And when their intentions switch to aggressive and you don't want no part of it, things could go very dangerous. It don't matter if you have a pimp on site. It could go very dangerous for her, and it could be very dangerous for the pimp. So I wish it's something there to learn. I think that some family members were doing a disservice to the legacy of their family members' death. I really believe they were doing a disservice when they were telling the media to stop calling them prostitutes, to stop calling them sex workers. And I feel they doing a disservice to them because they died being sex workers. Might as well teach the young ladies where things went wrong for your family member, young lady, as we could see, end up selling her body for money. And another thing I gotta say to those family members, where were you? Where were you when she was selling herself out there? For you to feel so disgusted about in a way people are calling the truth. Stop. Just stop calling them sex workers. Just stop. Why? Why not teaching young adult females that when you work as a sex worker and you sex traffic your body, you could die. And it's something the females are doing the most right now through the hip hop music, Hollywood. They want to be celebrities selling their bodies and shit. They want to have the expensive pocketbooks and the cars and the fame, selling their bodies. Even in high class sex workers, I'm gonna tell you right now, is way more dangerous. Because then now you're messing around with millionaires that they could make you disappear. In the same way Epstein disappeared, allegedly, many of his victims that as this day today, they still have never been found. So where those family members that are so disgusted right now with us, the media, calling them sex workers, where you were and what part you was taking on her life. Were you supporting her? Were you helping her? Were even trying to help her or help them so they don't be selling their bodies and they don't be in drugs and stuff like? Did you as a family member did what you needed to do for these youngins to not be dead today because they're bad decisions? This is where we discuss and talk these conversations, these heavy conversations that no one want to have, because it's something there to learn in all these true crime cases. The problem here is that not everyone talks about it the same. Let's continue. At least work for escort service who keep track of you, no pimps. Even those ladies are endangered though, but it looks a little bit more high class, but at the same time it's still dangerous though. Still absolutely wrong and scary, but when you said young people, yes, is all this job there is. Yes, Jane. That line of work is been there for since humankind was invented. But yes, with which young adults learn to get a job, get a job, get a 9 to 5, work at McDonald's, wash cars, mow the grass, go and find yourself a job in the boutique, learn something to do with your hands, to do hair salon stuff. Get yourself educated, go to school, go to college, learn something. Don't think that using drugs and having sex is cool because it's only making you waste your own time.
I want the world to know like my sister mattered. I want answers. I just want answers.
Imagine being able to.
You know what commercials tell me? That it's over. I think we're gonna leave it here for tonight. Help me run this. Say, well, you need money today, though. Yeah. Hey, I tell you what, man. I don't support it, but I can't blame him, though. I don't support it, but can you blame him? is the easiest way that a female could get money, even if you ugly. You just gotta open your legs and your mouth. Because 9 times out of 10, that's all they care about. They don't care if you look good. But big shout out to Help Me Rhonda. Big shout out to Jane. I think that to conclude the live stream today and leave some material for later live streams about it. In conclusion, Rex Heuermann, he admitted guilt. The case do not look very solid. It's a lot of sneaky stuff. It's a lot of irregularities. The only way to call the details about it is looking into the records. I guess now that the case is over, hopefully we get to see the records and the documents ASAP, so we could get to better conclusions. Unlike the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case, that we have authorities conspiring with the family members of the victims, conspiring with authorities and the city to conceal investigative materials and public records. Ain't that a shame? That at this day today, after so many months, almost 6 months something. Big shout out to Kathy from the Indie Zone. We love you. Big shout out to Kathy from the Indie Zone. But after so long, they still don't want to put the documents out. And you know why? Because in those documents is the proof that he's innocent. That's why. Big shout out to everybody that was watching. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Big shout out to Jen. Big shout out to Help Me Rhonda. Big shout out to Lucy Lou. Big shout out to Miss Potts. Big shout out to Kane. Big shout out to Twizzle Sticks. Big shout out to Harsh. Big shout outs to the big guy Harsh Reality. And as always, believe in yourself because I believe in you. If I did it, you could do it too. I ain't nothing special. I believe that you're going to take the best decisions in your life for yourself and for everyone around you. Love yourself and take care of yourself so you'll be able to love and take care of others. And come and see me tomorrow because I'll be here talking about Nancy Guthrie. And the next day, Sunday, we're going to be talking about the sailing hookers. I'm back to work. Love ya. Have a good night.